hard to swallow pills. I don't mind being my assigned gender, but I'd rather be the opposite gender. It's a manifestation of gender dysphoria. Because going around wishing you weren't the gender. Because you're either... Like, honestly, if you don't really mind being your assigned gender, but know you would just be more comfortable as, like, a different gender... Well, gender dysphoria, yes, it's also kind of giving gender euphoria, because I feel like gender euphoria is kind of an underrated part of, or like not talked about enough part of being trans in general. Because when cis people do something that is like gender affirming to them, they also get gender euphoria of being like happy with the gender, you know, but you get to do the same thing as a trans person, you know? Hello BabyQueers and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing some trans memes because why the hell not? You know, but you know the deal. Before we continue with the memes, y'all gotta get hydrated. So grab some water, or some tea, or whatever else you like to drink, and then we'll continue. Are you hydrated? Good. Let's go. Finished reading Boku Girl, and I think my egg is cracking. Is it cis to want bottom surgery? Like, listen, a lot of things, like once a year wondering what it would be like to be like the opposite gender might not mean you're not cis, right? Maybe you're just a curious person. Maybe you just hate how, like, especially as a woman, maybe you just hate how you're being treated as a woman, and you just kind of occasionally wonder whether it would just be easier as a guy. You know, but if bottom surgery is not one of those, it doesn't necessarily mean you're trans things, because I feel like wanting different genitals is maybe kind of telling. And this isn't oh, I have to use a public bathroom and it's gross, so I wish I would have a dick right now so I could just like pee standing up. It's not that. It's just the opposite direction, and also wanting bottom surgery. Not that cis, you know? I shaved my legs today and they feel great. Lol. Gender euphoria. That's just why I included this. Listen, I don't care if you're trans or not. If something is gonna give you gender euphoria, and if something is gonna make you feel good in your skin and feel confident or comfortable, why wouldn't you do it? If that is shaving certain body parts, cool. If it's not shaving certain body parts, cool. If it's certain clothes, great. You know, why wouldn't you? If you're trans, it just kind of makes me extra happy, because I feel like so many people don't want you to be happy, so you finding something that makes you happy is just gonna make me really happy. You know, but that's unrelated to the shaved legs. How I want to look versus how I am forced to look. If you as a human actually manage to look like this, I am kind of impressed, but that doesn't really mean too much, because you should be comfortable with how you look. And luckily nowadays, changing how you look is relatively easy, you know? And honestly, as a trans person, it's harder. You know, because wanting to change how you look isn't like done with a simple haircut or just like dyeing your hair. Like, sure, that can be part of it, and that can kind of like already be a huge relief, but wanting to look so completely different like a lot of trans people do because they're just not comfortable, a little bit harder, but also more possible nowadays. And I wish you luck to at least get closer to what you want to look like, you know? I feel like a lot of us maybe have like unrealistic transition goals. This might not be realistic, but I wish you best of luck getting as close to it as you can. How it feels like to use she, her in some platforms and he, him in others. Double life. Yeah, I came out relatively quickly in like all areas, like at work and with my family and everything. But that weird in-between time where I wasn't out to my whole family, like I wasn't out to my dad, because I just really didn't know how to tell him at all, for good reasons. I've been out for 6 years, I think. And he still messes up my pronouns, so, you know, this is exactly why I really didn't know how to tell him. But anyways, this awkward in-between stage where he didn't even know, and I couldn't correct him on name on pronouns because, well, I was too awkward to do it anyways, but even if I wanted to, I couldn't have, because he didn't know yet. You know? He was just wondering why my sisters were starting to call me a different name. But then again, I also had, like, different nicknames throughout my life that I wanted to be called by, so it's fine, you know? But that... I don't know how some people do it like that consistently for months or even years, where they're just like maybe out to their friends, but they can't be out at work. I'm so impressed. I do not have the attention span for it. I would have messed up so quickly. Wait, these gender feelings, they're all valid? People in denial. Always have been. Because, yeah. Why? Well, actually, there are a lot of people who are gonna tell you that they're not, that you just need to pull it together, but, you know, that's what people say when they don't understand something. Because it's easier for them if they don't have to think about anything else, if they don't have to learn something new, if they don't have to question whether they've actually been the asshole, so they just tell you to pull it together and just stop worrying about it, and you're just looking for a reason to be special. You know, it's easier for them to say that versus actually questioning what they believed in all their life, really. Doesn't make it right, of course, that they're continuing to be hateful assholes, but, you know, yeah, those feelings are valid. And I know a lot of people kind of want to ignore that their egg is cracking, but I kind of wish we were, like, in a state in this world where you wouldn't have to ignore it away. How I hope transitioning will be, and what I fear it will actually be. Then again, this is definitely not, like, honestly, are you immediately gonna look like any random cis woman you maybe look up to? Sure. I don't know who this top woman is. I don't actually know if she's trans or not. I'm just saying, like, you're probably gonna have, like, a lot of transition goals. You're not instantly gonna look like them, of course. Kinda be great if, like, someone actually had a magic wand that could just, like, wave, you know? But I don't think you're gonna look like this bottom one, because this bottom one is giving someone making a transphobic joke of, haha, this is what trans women look like, and I've yet to see a trans woman actually look like this. You know, so I'm pretty confident you're not gonna look like this. Even if you're afraid you might. The cis urge to wanna hide in your blanket forever and never have to live in your body, while you imagine how much better life would be if you were a girl. Still cis though, am I right? That's a very cis thing to do, right? We all do that, right? Right? Well, we don't. We don't. I feel like me not wanting to live with a body is more like sensory issues related rather than gender related. And maybe always has been, but I don't think too many cis people do this. Like, wanting to hide from the world and not want to deal with anything real life might just be a sign of depression. But if it's specifically because you don't want to be faced with your own body, then I might have some news for you. Because I think you can tell if it's a gender thing or just like a being not comfortable in your body because you're like self-conscious about it. Like, there's a clear difference, and I think we can tell which one is which. There is a dungeon in D&D called the Tomb of Horrors. The dungeon is unfair and confusing. However, I do believe there is a part that you can change your gender, so eggs, let us best the Tomb of the Lich. The length we will go to, like, honestly, doing this in D&D is all fun and games, really, still. The fact that this is kind of still what you have to do in real life, only in less fun and just also just confusing and unfair, is just worse. But at least in D&D it's fun and games. You know? Also, I'm yet to meet an actual like straight person that's obsessed with D&D. That can't be a coincidence. POV, you're trying to watch trans content around your transphobic family. You better get one of those. There are like protective films for your screen that like block out so that no one from the sides or anywhere else, unless they're looking like straight at your phone, can actually see what you're doing. And word of advice, get one of those protective films. Just say you wanted a protection film in case you're like out in public, you don't want everyone to read your messages, right? And then do anything that your family's gonna deem normal on your phone. So that whenever they do try to look, because it's new and they're gonna like, why don't you want us to see your screen, right? They're just gonna see some boring stuff or whatever, and they're just gonna like lose interest in what you're doing on your phone eventually again, you know, so then you can watch your trans content in peace. Yeah, just a helpful tip, I guess. My wife called me a passenger princess. I feel so pretty. Listen, I feel like a lot of people like being called passenger princess because it's just true. But honestly, as silly as it might seem from like an outside perspective, finding little things like this that just give you joy about your gender is once again just brilliant. Like, listen, if you're a cis girl and you like being called passenger princess by your partner, great, cool. But I get that as a trans person it can have it like a little bit differently to have someone like affirm your gender like that, so I'm glad you feel like a pretty passenger princess now. I had better sleep for a year while wearing a legging, a sport top, and a hoodie. Still cis though. Well, listen, clothes don't necessarily dictate your gender. But if you feel the need to point out that you're still cis, I highly doubt that you actually are. And also, I would die if I were to try to sleep like this. I overheat so quickly anyways, like I'm already too warm during the day. If I try to sleep with this many clothes on, I'm gonna melt and not sleep because I'm gonna be so warm, and if I get too warm I get really angry, so I'm not gonna be able to sleep like this. I'm glad it works for you though. I got stung by a bee the other day. I definitely didn't hope it would turn me into a girl. Unfortunately, this is not Spider-Man, and even Spider-Man didn't change gender from being bitten by a spider, so why would a bee stinging you be different? What? Like, listen, I'm trans. I got a lot of trans memes, but I have never once had the specific thing happen, but oh well. I kept getting mistaken for a girl at a funeral today because of my long hair. It hurt a little having to correct them each time because I'm definitely still cis. Just do what I do, just laugh it off awkwardly. Because then you don't actually have to say, oh no, I'm a guy, you know, I'm not a girl. You can just like laugh about it and be like, yeah, a lot of people seem to think I'm a girl. You know, without maybe actually doing the hair thing, because, yeah, but I think it's gonna be, like, it's maybe gonna hurt, like, at least a little bit less than actually having to say, oh, no. I'm definitely not this gender that you think I am, that I know I am, but I can't tell you because I'm still cis, though, right? You know, like, I get that it's not maybe safe or convenient for you to come out at the moment. So don't, I guess, unless you feel ready and unless you know you're gonna be safe. But still, maybe next time try to find a way around it so you don't have to like actually invalidate your gender like that. Me, thinking I'm not gonna have problems at school. I've worked on being socially awkward and easily angered. Being referred to as a boy in every sentence spoken to me, I didn't mind it before, why does it hurt now? What do I even do about it? Trans panic. Like, listen, as fun as gay panic, or like lesbian panic, or bi panic is to me sometimes, because it's just, oh my god, women are so pretty, what do I do, basically. You know, like, as funny as that is, trans panic is, less fun. It's less fun because it's just, as soon as you realize that something is uncomfortable to you and that something isn't right, the more uncomfortable it gets. Like, the worse it just gets. Like, maybe it was always like a bit awkward when people called you a boy in the scenario. Maybe it was always a bit awkward and you just like waved it off because it didn't make sense, right? You were born a boy. Like, I'm sure that's right. You know, like, everyone says I am, like, I know I am, it's fine. And just kind of waved it off that it feels weird, or maybe that you just like really hate your name for no apparent reason. You know, but once you realize why you maybe felt like a little bit awkward or a little weird about it, then it just gets worse and it hurts more because suddenly you know the truth, but no one else does. And I'm really glad you don't have anger issues anymore, because it might make this more difficult. Like, having anger issues and then just being upset about getting misgendered constantly is not a great combination. Normal sources of gender euphoria? No. Getting told you're too girly to play your favorite game. Also, seems strange to me, really, because someone be like, no, but girls can't play video games is obviously inherently stupid, and you know it's not true, and you're gonna continue playing your game because you enjoy playing this game. I guess, like, listen, I did say whatever like gives you gender euphoria is fine, and of course it's like fair, and if it works, it works. You know, gender euphoria is gender euphoria, even if the actual thing is maybe a little bit strange. But I still kind of hope you find less weird gender role-y kind of things, maybe. You could have a happy life as your preferred gender if you just loved and accepted yourself and had the courage to come out and transition. Eggs. Yeah, like, that's never gonna happen. There are just things that give really strong trans vibes that aren't inherently trans. I feel like, I mean, Mulan, obviously, but Shrek actually also kind of. I don't know why, it just... Shrek movies give trans vibes. I don't make the rules, but having this used as a trans meme is just great. But also, yes, obviously, realizing you're trans and accepting yourself and transitioning if you want to isn't magically gonna fix your entire life, but it doesn't mean you're not ever gonna have problems again, that you're never gonna struggle again, but it does help to have one less thing to worry about, really, or to be overall more happy with your life and yourself, you know, like, it does help a lot. Hey me, why do you always wear that mask? Me, an oblivious trans man. Me again. Lesbian and non-binary mask. Straight white man. Okay, let's keep this on. Listen, as much as I appreciate this joke, because there are just too many weird straight men, you get to lead by example, okay? You get to stop lying to yourself, be more comfortable with yourself, and just lead by example and be a really, actually good white straight man. You know, just because you're a straight white man doesn't mean you're evil. Doesn't mean you have to suddenly start acting like a dickhead and act like the only reason you deal with women is because you want to fuck them. You know, like, you get to lead by example and just be a normal person, you know, and like a decent kind human being, you know. So yeah, you know, you get to do that, and I think that's great. You know, me waiting for femme clothes to arrive after ordering it. Just like ordering it and immediately wanting like to kind of run to the window to wait for the package to arrive, but you know it's ridiculous, but you still kind of want to do that. Because then you're just excited about it and you can't focus on anything else. You're just excited for the thing you're gonna get. It seems entirely fair. I've never done this with femme clothes. I have maybe done this with clothes in general, yeah, but still, this just seems entirely fair. I refer to myself as a girl subconsciously while talking to myself. This still sis though. Well, if you're like me and you just cannot talk, I cannot talk. The amount of times I have to restart a sentence because I couldn't say the words I meant to say, and the amount of times I just talk about random people. Like, even I have sisters. I've grew up with them. I know their pronouns are she, her, because, well, they've always gone by that. They've always been girls. I still manage to call them he, him sometimes, because I just cannot talk. So if you're like that and it just happens once, I wouldn't worry too much about it. But if you're not like that, or if you're just like catching yourself repeatedly referring to yourself as a different gender, then well, maybe you don't need to worry about it, but it is definitely trying to tell you something. You get gender euphoria from wearing skirts. I get gender euphoria from wearing tops. Both are good and valid. Have a nice day. Exactly. Listen, find whatever works for you. Find whatever works for you. Like, I would appreciate if it's not like other people trying to enforce real gender roles on you. But if something that is traditionally feminine, like a skirt, gives you gender euphoria, cool. Great. Same with tops, obviously. Like, if you find a cute top and that's gonna give you gender euphoria, why the hell not? Wear the top, I'm sure you look cute in it. Making a lot of like-minded trans friends from other countries. Yes, that's great. Probably never meeting them IRL because they live in different countries. Wait a second. Did not think this through, but at the same time, really, people hating on online friends have always... How do I say this? Like, I don't want to... Like, you know, the opposite would be have a special place in my heart. But they do hold a very special place in my brain. Because I just think it's incredibly stupid. Like sometimes I'm a boomer because I am very slow when it comes to learning new technology or something. Like, not really, but it just annoys me when I don't instantly get it and then I'm just angry with it and then I just give up on it. Like a boomer. But anyways, I'm not actually that old, so that's probably why I'm not such a dickhead about online people. Because, yeah, of course, like, making sure your child understands safety online, because, yeah, people online can easily lie and pretend to be someone they're not. You know, but just hating on anything, like hating on any kind of online friendship is so stupid and it annoys me so much. Because why? Like, sure, like having someone around you may be sometimes preferable, but that doesn't mean that online friendships aren't great and that having like-minded online friends, like, especially if you're maybe like in a region where being queer isn't so open and like it's not that accepted, then having like an online community like that or having online friends like that is the most important thing, because you get to not go insane, because you know you're not alone with it, because you can talk to these people, they can support you, you know, you can like still maybe exchange tips. But even if you live somewhere where it's like totally fine to be queer, why not? Why not online friends? You know, I don't even care. Like, I don't care. You can just like be a straight white man and just meet someone over an online game you play together and just like be online friends with that person. Great. Cool. You know? But I feel like especially for queer people, kind of having this like chosen family and like just taking the connection where you can find it really is maybe important. And so people hating on that just makes me so angry. You know, but anyways, I feel like we ranted enough for today. You know, I hope you enjoyed these memes. I hope you're hydrated. And actually, I know it's only September, you can't even see. Hang on. I got a new cup yesterday and it's super cute. And I had to show you. I know it's only September, but I had to get Halloween decorations and a cute mug. you know, just wanted to show you that, and just making sure I am hydrated while making sure y'all are hydrated, you know. So anyways, I hope you're hydrated, I hope you enjoyed the memes, and I'll be back in a few days with my next video.